I will now introduce Lesson 46 in Ross. First of all, 46.1 Oath Formulas. An oath is a self-curse, a conditional self-curse, a solemn affirmation or denial made with appeal to God for the truth of what is affirmed. And there are different formulations of how this can work. The first kind of oath formulation is introduced by imlo, or sometimes ki. Imlo would mean literally, if not. Ki would be more like surely I will. But the imlo, the if not formulation, would look like something or other. If not, I do such and such is the way that it would formulate. And it's elliptical for meaning something like, may the Lord deal with me if I do not do such and such. Or, pardon the frivolous swearing, but the sense of it is, may I be damned. May the Lord, condemn me if I do not do what I'm promising. If not, this happens. So you get an example of this in Joshua 14:9. And Moses swore on that day, the land on which your feet have walked will surely be given to you as inheritance. But what it says literally is that Moses swore in that day, saying, quote, if not the land, im lo haaretz, asher daraka raggalaka ba laka tihiye la nachala. If not, again, may I be judged, if not the land which your feet are walking on it, will be to you for an inheritance. So the if not is, again, a short for a self-curse formula. May the Lord do bad things to me, if not this happens. The oath of denial is introduced by by itself. And again, it too is elliptical, leaving out words, that must be understood to represent something like, may the Lord deal with me if I do such and such. So you have the example from Genesis 14:23, which can be rendered, I will accept nothing belonging to you, talking to the king of Sodom, not even a thread or a thong of a sandal. But what it says literally, if a thread, even until a thong of sandal, if I take from you which belongs to you. Particularly the second if clause is, I'll be damned if I take from you anything belonging to you. Oath formulas can also begin with high, living, alive, followed by the divine name. And so here you have Chai Adonai Sabaoth, and that's a typical oath formula, as the Lord of hosts lives. There the Chai is interpreted as the verb in the perfect. As the Lord of hosts lives, and the sense of that would be, as the Lord of hosts lives to punish me if I don't do what I promise, I will do such and such. Yeah, you can also swear on an oath on the life of a human. And so here you have Chai Adoni Hamelech, as my Lord the King lives. And so he's swearing on the life of his Lord, as opposed to swearing on the life of Yahweh. And again, the underlying sense may be that, well, if I don't keep this, then you have every right as king to punish me. So that's oath formulas. And now Ross introduces clauses using the particle rock. Sometimes rock may introduce a restrictive clause. And by your mouth or by your word, uh, all my people will be ruled. But then it makes a restriction on that. Rock only, hakise, which is kind of adverbial, with regard to the throne, I will be great from you, egdol mimenka. I will be great from you, I will be greater than you. And so that's providing a restriction. By the way, there are a couple of typos here. That should be a dalet and not a kaf, and there should be a dog h in the mem there. A second kind of rock clause may introduce an assertive clause, in which case rock can be translated surely. Surely you hate me, rock shanetani. Surely you hate me, velo ahavtani, and you do not love me. And so sometimes it's assertive clauses. Similar to number one, there is number three here. Rock may introduce an exception clause, in which the word can actually be translated except. Ein bar aron, there's nothing in the ark. Rock, meaning except. Shnei luchot ha'avanim, 2 tablets of stone. There's nothing in the ark except 2 tablets of stone. I move on to section 46.3, purpose clauses. Hebrew has many common ways to express purpose. While each of the constructions listed below could in other contexts have different translation values, in these passages they introduce purpose clauses. One way you can give a purpose clause is preposition la plus infinitive construct. So in Genesis 12 and verse 5, Vayetzu leleket artsa Canaan, and they went forth to go, and that's to go meaning for the purpose of going, to go to the land called Canaan. Here you have a hey directive, but you have preposition la plus infinitive construct of halak, to go, the form where you drop the preformative, add a t at the end, treat what's left like a sigilate, and that's a purpose clause. Another way that you can express purpose is use the particle lama'an, which is typically translated in order that, and add a verb in the imperfect. So Abram tells Sarai, Imri na ahoti at. Say, imperative, please, if you want to translate not at all. You're my sister. Why? Lama'an yitav li. In order that it will be good for me, that things will go well for me. Again, lama'an is in order that expresses the purpose for his request. And then number 3, indirect volative. We mentioned this previously in lesson 20, section 7. But this is a case where you have 2 clauses beginning with vav. You begin with the form of the Hiphial, uh, uh, bring it to me, ve havi li, and the holaka, and I will eat. Now the form I will eat is a coordinative type form, and the sense of it is bring it to me in order that I may eat it. And so that is another way of expressing purpose. Yeah, if you go back to 20.7, he has this section, imperative, jussive, or coordinative, followed by jussive, coordinative, or imperfect, plus vav consecutive. The second clause may be translated to reflect the idea that the purpose or the result of what had previously been mentioned, and he gives you several examples there too. Negative purpose is expressed with the particle labilti, followed by the infinitive construct or a verb. And so it gives a negative purpose. So in Exodus 20:20, tihi ye yer ato al panekem, his fear or fear of him will be before you, labilti, in order that not, tehe tahu, in order that you not sin. Again, a negative purpose in this case. Number 5, you can have below plus an imperfect can express a negative purpose. That's the word lest in English can be used that way. And so verse we mentioned in the oath formula, Genesis 14 verse 23, swearing, surely I will not take from you that which belongs to you. And then the below means lest you say I made Abram rich, is what it goes on to talk about. So in order that you not be able to say I made Abraham rich, I will not take anything from you, king of Sodom, you wicked person. And then in a sixth way of expressing purpose, negative purpose, would be using the particle pin, which itself means lest. You will not eat from it. Adam and Eve are told about the tree of in the middle of the garden. In order that, and you're not even to touch it. Pin temutun, lest you die. Don't touch it in order that you not die. Finally, a couple of observations from the critical apparatus from the passage you're going to study in Genesis 14:17 through 24. There is a samik, which means that there's a closed paragraph division. That stands for satuma, an Aramaic form, ending with Genesis 14:24. And then there's a reference in the margin to 1Q Gen App, a Genesis Apocryphon from Qumran Cave 1, a paraphrase of the Genesis narrative from Noah to Abraham that shows the text was interpreted by a segment of the pre-Christian Judaism of Qumran. And then in the apparatus, it has this kind of greater than looking sign. The reading in question is absent from the manuscripts and versions listed in the apparatus at Genesis 14:22. So if you go to the critical text at 14:22 in reference A to this phrase unto Yahweh, if you look on that, well, that is greater than the Septuagint and also the 1Q Gen App, the Genesis Apocryphon, which might indicate that phrase is not original to the text. Well, that's an introduction to this chapter.